Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stars and Stripes Cup Series, Season 4, race number 6 here tonight, as we are hitting the track at Kentucky. Mile and a half racing here for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. It certainly is going to be a fun show for us. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and as always, our producer, that of Robert Moyer. Zach, we're at Kentucky, a track that NASCAR no longer goes to in real life, but virtually we still get to attend.
Yeah, exactly, Sam. No longer going to attend this track here in real life, but we'll bring our cars here for sure multiple times throughout the year here, I believe, at Freaky Fast. So make sure we got to stay in tune with this track. But this is a very interesting track. You know, it's actually one of the newer tracks we've got updated on iRacing during last year due to this resurfacing of the track, and that's really changed this place. We used to talk about Kentucky being an old, worn-out surface. This place is very smooth and fast. Down in 1 and 2, it's not very wide of a corner. They definitely shrunk the width of the track down, but they put more banking in there to allow a little bit more grip. And down to 3 and 4, it's very similar to what it used to be, but it's still that new type of surface there is really added to the grip level. And tonight, man, this is going to be a very much a pack coordinated race, and it's going to be tough to get away from a competition again, as we always see with this package. But this track here, I think, plays even more into that, especially with the night and the grip levels being so high.
Yeah, and the last couple of weeks, it's been away from mile and a half racing. Our one and only mile and a half race this season has been at Atlanta for race number 3. Then we went to Sonoma and Pocono last week, which Pocono, dramatic last lap of a lot of contact. And because of all the contact that happened, penalties are given out. Our Atlanta winner, that of Ken Campbell, given an EOL penalty. So he'll be starting at the end of the line once we go green after his contact with that of Travis Butt at the end of last week's race at Pocono. It was a dramatic race there at Pocono there, Zach, and I'm excited to see, just because of the way that these drivers are going to be attacking here tonight, of will we see a new driver get a win? We've only had 3 winners, that being Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard, and as well that of Kyle McCoy. But McCoy already told us he will not be showing up here tonight, so it's wide open who could possibly get another win this season.
Yeah, and that's going to be a critical thing with, like, you bring up the EOL there for Ken Campbell. He's got those 3 wins in his back pocket to start the season off. But one of those things that's led to those wins is good starting positions. That's one thing he's got to work out tonight. So, like you said, we could see another winner breakthrough, because also no Kyle McCoy here tonight. Then Scott Rickard, he's always a threat, so we could see him break back in. But tonight, I do have that feeling. It's a different track. You know, we've seen the 1.5 miler at Atlanta. That track completely different than this Kentucky place. And I tell you what, I think tonight we're going to see maybe something new up front, maybe some familiar faces also, but maybe some guys that need some rebound moments, because I'm telling you, there's drivers that were really strong in that Xfinity Series last season have come to this Cup car, and it's not been a great first 5 races. Tonight, in race number 6, they're going to look to turn it around.
Well, Zach, you threw it out there. We're going to see familiar faces and not so familiar faces. And as we look at the board, these are your practice times. Scott Rickard, no surprise, up front, looking fast as always in the 0.5. But now we're seeing Chris Essery. We've seen him be very quick in our first 2 races, getting the pole positions at Daytona and Michigan. But it's kind of fallen off at moments, with the 10 looking quick. But it's 3rd place runner currently, Brett Sommers in the 17, Travis Dart. Those 2 drivers you don't really get to see. Then also got John Dart, Timmy McNally's back in the top 10 with speed. Those are some faces we have not seen up front for a while. That some of them we did see a lot last season when these drivers were running the Xfinity car. But here tonight, might see a little bit of a change up. 35 seconds left in practice before we get to qualifying. These drivers will have 2 laps for 5 minutes. See who can be on top of the board with the fastest time, as Ken Campbell coming in as our top runner and a points leader coming into this race. And Zach, you also noted on it, 3 wins, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s in his 5 starts. The most consistent driver currently. The next consistent drivers would be Scott Rickard and also that of Christopher Wade, both of them with 4 top 10s, and 3 top 5s. So they are all looking very consistent. But practice coming to a close. It's now time for qualifying, which, Zach, based on what we've been seeing with this Cup package and the Aero package, this might be one of the more important aspects of tonight's race.
Oh, it definitely is. It puts you in that prime position to be able to control your destiny early in this race. We've seen the draft, how big a factor it can be, and putting yourself in that dirty air back there. Yeah, you're getting the draft, but also through the corners, it's just so much tougher the more cars you put yourself behind. So farther you can put yourself up there, the better position you're going to be able to control your fate. This race is going to be wild. I expect a lot of movement from these drivers just with the grip level. So we got to see how it all shakes out, man. But I'm expecting a very wild one here tonight in Kentucky with the racing lines spreading out.
And drivers that have gotten pulls so far this season, like I noted on Chris Etzery, he's the only driver with multiple pulls this season, being our first two races at Daytona and Michigan. And then we've had that of also seeing Nate Lynch gain a pull at Atlanta, Brian Burchett with a pull at Sonoma, and last week it was Cal McCoy sweeping it from coast to coast for himself. But here tonight, we might see a different face topping the board. Scott Rickard was the fastest during practice, but Zach, as we're seeing qualifying times just starting up after these warm-ups, well, most of those times were during the draft, and having draft help, now you don't have that assistance. It is all on your own.
Yeah, completely different times I think we're going to see here in this qualifying session. I don't think you'll get even close to that 30.092. Like you said, that's the assist of the draft from another car in front of the 05 Scott Ricker. But you see a little bit of momentum build up here by the 00 machine as he's trying to get the pace built up. So that's showing right there. Again, the second lap might be the lap to go for as he cuts the tribal. So right here, this is little things you can do to gain time. It's mostly wide open as the first few times start to click on. It looks like Kyle Bowling at the top of the board, but it's mostly wide open around this racetrack. You know, you stay full throttle for majority of the lap here, so it's very easy on yourself to do a lap, but there's ways to shave little bits of time. First of all, don't scrub that speed off. Don't turn too much wheel, and also do things like you did, cutting the apron there, shortening the distance around this track. It's one thing you can definitely do to gain time in your competition when it's so close like this when it's wide open.
Travis Butt, who was looking for a great finish last week, did not get the finish that he wanted. Still very below the cut line for himself, and a kind of a poor qualifying time for the 00. Travis Butt going to be getting 12th currently on the board. Still a lot of drivers on track trying to get their qualifying times done, as you see that of Andrew Medlin starting to get roll off of pit road. And the strategy here, Zach, it's always interesting to see drivers that wait until most or half of the field's already put down their time to get out there. And I think for some, it has to be wait to see what the bar is that you need to go out there and go set, as currently top of the board is that of Cameron Sarton, as we see Christopher Wade, again, one of those drivers that I noted on, who's been very consistent this season.
Yeah, Wade has been very consistent along with his teammate Ken Campbell. He's been right there for most of the races with that 15. We'll see if tonight's the first time maybe he can break through as his time comes across the board. Right now, looks to be in the 15th position right now, time-wise, and not the greatest spot now. I'm sorry, actually, it's going to slide him back to 16th right now. So Christian Wade will see what he can produce on the next lap, because we've seen the second lap be faster. He didn't elect to take the higher line to get the speed build up, but we'll see what this lap does here. Well, he's shown a lot of speed this season. He's one to watch for there, being the first driver in the points not to win there.
Yeah, and for that of Christopher Wade, he's one of those drivers that we've seen, throughout this season have good qualifying runs at the bigger courses that we go to, like Pocono, Daytona, and Michigan. But once we get to these other tracks like Atlanta, we've seen a little bit of a falter from the 53, and once again, going to be 21st currently on the board as we see the 12 of Andrew Medlin, another driver that we're still waiting to see him get a win here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, but he certainly has been one of the drivers that has been contending and pressuring. Medlin crossed the line for his final lap of qualifying and will not best this time. Going to be staying with a 30.282, sixth on the board currently. We only have just a handful of drivers left if they want to put down a time. Here comes the 24 of Brian Lynch, and as well the 31 of Trey Jackson, both trying to get their times finished up. Trey Jackson 17th on the board after finishing up his qualifying times. But for Brian Lynch, one of the drivers from the Lynch posse that's looking to have a good run for himself, kind of been faltering, right on the brink of making it into the playoffs. So we're hoping the 24 can find just a little bit more speed as he's coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, he's going to have to find a little bit more once to get himself right there into the playoffs and safely in. But I tell you what, looking at the board now with Cameron Sarton up there, 30.183. That lap is a burner of a lap there from the 13, and he showed a lot of speed this season. Only one top 5 to go along with that speed. So, man, I think he's a driver we could be looking for possibly to pull himself in the victory lane, but also don't look too far. Dylan Grimm there from our Final Four last season. He's put himself there the second on the board.
And also, we saw there for a quick second the 20 of Derek Offerman. He's actually just running pace laps for himself. But qualifying is to come to a close. Some drivers were able to finish out their times, others were not. When you see the pace car, they're waiting for all the drivers to load in, to get filed up, as we are getting ready for Kentucky Speedway Racing, race number 6 of the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. It's going to be 133 laps for these drivers, no fast repair, 3 sets of tires in pit road, only 1 overtime attempt if needed. As we take a look at your qualifying results, it's going to be Cameron Sarton topping the board with your pole position, getting his first pole position of the season, with Dylan Grimm to his outside. Row number 2 in 3rd place, it's going to be Tim McNally, Travis Dart, with 5th place being Ken Campbell, and as well that of Andrew Medlin. Do want to give note, Ken Campbell does have that EOL, so the 5th place position, he's going to be dropped all the way back to 32nd position. And again, next to that, going to be back to row number 4, where we find Mark Beverly, Kyle Bowling, as well as Scott Rickard, and that of Dylan Glass, going to be your top 10.
In the 11th position, it's going to be the 9 of Patrick Hasty. Followed behind him is going to be John Darden at 66. 13th is going to be Nate Lynch. 14th position going to go to Mike Lynch. There, the 2 machine. 15th is going to be Derek Offerman. 16th, Cole Sketty. 17th going to Trey Jackson. 18th here's the 46 of Jason Gratton. 19th, George Kovacic. And rounding out that top 20 is Nick Holland in the 68.
And it's going to be Aaron Hale, that of Steve Anderson, then Christopher Wade, Travis Butt, Ryan Burchett, Brian Lynch, that of Brett Summers, as well as Doug Pierce, Chris Essery, and Max Ward, going to be finishing out your top 30. The last 2 drivers is going to be that of John Shalano, as well as Haas Beverly. Randy Cornwell is going to be our race control for tonight's race. We'll see how well these drivers can be attesting, as currently waiting on that of Chris Essery to get onto the grid before drivers start rolling off. But Zach, before the drivers get going, the fact that there's no fast repair, this is going to be a big factor for these drivers. 133 laps, no stage breaks for tonight's race, so the drivers, they get to race it possibly from green to white.
Yeah, that's where it's going to get interesting. Like you said, no fast repair for these drivers. So, when you think about a fast repair, a lot of times you're thinking about repairing major damage with a fast repair. But not only that, getting a little scrape, a little broken right fender on this car at a place like this is going to be a big factor throughout the night. It'll take you from being a top 5 car possibly all the way back to a fringe top 10 car. So you got to watch out for not only getting the damage here, guys. I think 2 guys on our grid here, they may have fell asleep at the wheel, Sam, here, but as they pull off, man, it's going to be wild here to see how this all shakes out. But yeah, got to stay out of trouble there with no fast repairs here tonight for these drivers.
It might be the fact that Dylan Glass is just maybe opting out to give himself a manual EOL penalty for himself. We'll see if the 42 catches back up and gets back into his 10th place position. But yeah, for these drivers, it's going to be a lot of patience early on that we're hoping to see, but you never know what's going to happen for a lot of these front runners up front. How aggressive do they want to be? We know the dirty air is going to be a huge factor, primarily for the majority of this race, but they've got to make sure that they feel comfortable. And just got word from race control, they're going to delay this for an extra lap, as like we saw, drivers were kind of asleep at the wheel, so they were not all stacked up and ready to go this time by. So Zach gives them a breather, but at the same time, these pace laps, we're not wanting to be in them for very long.
No, definitely not. These drivers are ready to go, and that one extra lap there, it kind of it builds the tensions even higher. The nerves start to build more and more. I know myself sitting on pit road waiting, and then these pace laps before the green flag is the most nerve-wracking time as a driver. I mean, it's worse than fighting for a win at the end of the race. It seems like there's just so much tension built up. You're ready to go. Everything is just right in front of you for that green flag to wave, and then you get that one extra lap thrown in there, and you go, man, I got to go a whole other wrap around here at pace speed. It kind of, it almost holds the horses back right here as we get ready to see them do this one more pace lap. It's interesting how it affects the driver's mind, in my opinion.
Well, it's going to be affecting the mind, and as well, tires. I'm more concerned about how cold these tires are going to be for these drivers since we have a little bit more time before we go green. Weather for the drivers here, ambient temperature going to be 77 degrees, track temp going to be 79 degrees, so it's a cooler temp, still a lot of grip. But Zach, with an extra pace lap, that's going to have these tires cool off a little bit more, which is going to make these first couple of laps a lot more intense than what we're expecting.
Oh no, Sam, you're exactly right about that. This extra lap here just cooling the tires down more. When we're on pace laps like this, the tires are dramatically cooling, and right now they're just dropping farther and farther off of that perfect zone that you want to be in. So down in 1 and 2 and probably off into 3 and 4 on that first lap, it's going to be a little bit hairy for these guys.
Well, the drivers are in 3 and 4. They've been patient. They had to do an extra lap to make sure everyone was in line. But it is time for the race time. Drivers are set. The pace car's pulling off. It's time for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series Season 4, race number 6 at Kentucky. You see the flagman getting prepared. The drivers are rolling. They're in the restart zone. We are green. Cameron Sartin already on the loud pedal, and he's outside. Going to be Dylan Grimm, Timmy McNally, Dart, all charging as they head down in turn number 1. It's Sartin with the great launch for himself.
Great start from the 13, like you said there. Sam able to jump out to the lead, but now Timmy McNally trying to take advantage of that bottom lane there and pulls alongside Dylan Grimm. I nose ahead down the back straightaway with that outside line. We've seen it here multiple times with this Gen 6 car. It's very, very good. This strap back is making contact here.
Beverly goes into Dart, and now they're going to be 3-4 wide at one moment. Mark Beverly just got a little bit too aggressive. The car didn't stick. We noted on the cold tires, and that's going to be a reason why they're going to be faltering back. Other drivers slow and further back than they want to be. And right now, up front, pulling away, it's Cameron Sartin doing a great job for himself. And honestly, that fantastic start that he had was the reason he got out of trouble quickly.
It really was, Sam. That's what you want to do as that leader. That's why qualifying is so important in this package. You get so packed up with your competition. Side-by-side action is what usually brings out the contact in these race cars. And Cameron Sartin able to jump out to the early lead. But look, Scott Rickard, one of our other winners early in this season, one of our 3 winners, along with Kyle McCoy and Ken Campbell. He's early from that 9th position to 4th, man. He really gained a lot of spots there in that whole scramble with that contact.
Yeah, I mean, huge for that, seeing Rickard moving up, that's Patrick Hasty moving up a lot of positions, Nate Lynch moving up a lot of positions, and now we're starting to see our whole entire top 12 practically single filed out. But we go back to the Hornet's Nest, back around 20th. It is a madhouse, drivers on top of one another, and here's that of Sacchetti. Sacchetti became kind of surprised in the early parts of the season, showed a lot of speed early on. But what's even more terrifying to see is the fact that Travis Dart, biggest loser after the contact, all the way back to 16.
Oh, that is unfortunate for Travis. He had such a good qualifying spot there in 4th, and that's what he needed on his side in the 209. He's shown speed this season, but it's just got pushed back farther in the races, and right now he's going to have to look into be rebounding from that. There's definitely some action back in that backpack there, man. It's heating up here early in the going here on lap number 5, and I tell you what, Sam, we see how critical the race finishes are for these guys. Last week, Kyle McCoy winning the race, he gained 16 positions in points. I mean, if you look from 7th in points there with Brett Somers, he's 100 points back from our leader. Then the next 100 points down from him, it's all the way back to around 34th in points. It's kind of mind-blowing how close it is there from that 7th to 34th position. And one big swing like that with Kyle McCoy there with that win, it's pushed him up all the way 16 spots. So drivers that are down there farther, it's still close in points there in that range. But one big night, it could swing your whole season around.
Absolutely, but it's all about being up front, which that's where we're going to move up to. Timmy McNally in 2nd place, Dylan Grimm, they're close to one another. And for Dylan Grimm, had one of the bigger scares besides Travis Dart being thrown up to the outside wall with the contact. Dylan Grimm also was another driver that got that contact from Mark Beverly. Beverly, who was up front in the top 5 here just in the first 7 laps, now has fallen back to 12.
Yeah, Beverly there involved in that contact, like you said there, Sam. That's really pushed him to the farther back here, and it's allowed other drivers to jump up ahead along with Nate Lynch at 25 there. He's drove from 13th to that 9th. We've seen Trey Jackson drive from 17th to 11th, so it's really been a wild start here for position change-wise, but I tell you what, Rim looked like he was getting a little bit ready maybe make a move on McNally, but decides better of it as we look back now here at Trey Jackson in that 11th position, trying to break into the top 10 from that 17th spot. And that's something that Trey Jackson did a lot in the Xfinity car, was drive his way through the field.
Yeah, and then also just behind him, you also have Nick Holland, who's doing a great job moving forward, and where we find Mark Beverly currently racing with one another. And looking at where the drivers are currently, I'm going to say this. I mean, Nick Holland, as long as he keeps this 68 out of trouble, doesn't put any damage on, we know he can be fast. We saw him last season going a 3-win streak. Out of nowhere, really, it felt like. And honestly, this 68 has winning potential, but he always seems to be having an extremely damaged vehicle in the final quarter of the race.
Yeah, it does seem to always come back to damage that haunts that 68 machine here. But I tell you what, if he times it right, gets into the place and times the right time for those 3 wins in a row that he pulled off like last season, it could very well be the right time to do it. So right here, not showing the full strength like he did in the Xfinity car, is now the 93 Beverly going to the inside, is even farther behind that there. Aaron Hale in the 4. We know how good he likes to move up through the field. He's trying to take that 16th position from Mike Lynch, who's lost 2 spots, but looks like Lynch is going to hang on there as Gratton's right behind him in the 46.
Yeah, Gratton, one of our, you could say, fan favorites, always has supporters in the chat wanting to cheer on. And if you've got any other drivers out there in the chat that you're cheering on, or teams, put them in the chat so we can see them, as Jason Gratton, 18th position currently, hasn't moved up or lost any spots currently, but a driver that is trying to be on the move. Gotta say, congrats to Nick Holland for being our biggest mover currently, but I'm surprised Ken Campbell is being swamped and stuck. 15. Again, he was starting out with an EOL penalty all the way back in 26 currently, and he's moved up quite a bit, but you can start to tell once you get about 10 laps in, you stall out with these tires.
Yeah, you really do, Sam. It's just a common theme with the tires at the moment here that we have. You really can make moves, it seems like, early in the go, and you can have a little difference between you and the drivers, but you can pay for that here later in the run. But then at a certain point, if you aren't overheating the tire and really just, tearing that thing up, then you can take it to a point where it just evens out. Everything stays there. As now we got Ballon right here. It is great racing going on here down in 3 and 4 with riding on board with Christopher Wade. But that pace just seems to even out. It plateaus, and if you can do a good job like that, you're usually in a pretty good case for how your race is going to go if you can keep that same lap time over and over again.
And they're trying their best to stay consistent, and noted on it during qualifying, that of Christopher Wade been Mr. Consistent at times, but it's been qualifying that's been hurting the 58, up 9 positions. Big second highest mover so far this race, as he's trying to figure out how to get by that of Mark Beverly. Beverly's trying to get by that of Trey Jackson, and it's kind of forcing the issue on the entry of the corners. It's on there of the 98, poking his nose, and now given an opportunity. Here comes that of the 53, and as well the 20 behind him, trying to go on the inside to get by that of Mark Beverly.
Yeah, trying to make this move down here on the inside. He's not the preferred groove in 1 and 2. It's very easy to run this groove here when it's got that higher banking like that, but Beverly able to power off the outside there and hold the position. Down here in 3 and 4, though, is where you're going to see the most difference from these drivers. They're going to take different lines. They're going to try to spread out a little bit. It's a little bit flatter. That bottom lane, if you can make it work, you can make passes happen. It's just tough to make it work. So as this run goes on, they're going to have to start to lift in that corners. Oh, caution's out.
And now back in 32nd position, Cole Sacchetti caught up in an incident, and Sacchetti's luck continues to waver once again. As I gotta say, for this 29, this has not been the way that he's wanted this season to start at all. And now gonna be finding himself heavily damaged. As wait for the instant replay, you see the 29 gonna be racing here. This was back racing for that of, I believe, 29th position, and just gets a little bit of a nick by that of Steve Anderson and blips out, comes back, overcorrects, and into the outside wall.
Oh, man, that's so unfortunate for Cole Sacchetti there. Like you said, Sam, it's just been a season long of this. Other than his one top 10 finish this season, it's pretty much been trouble in the other 3 starts there for him. So this will add to that race there. 4 races now where he's had major, major trouble.
Major issues for himself, and also another driver that snuck by. You saw the 22, that being Haas Beverly, that was trying to just avoid any type of contact. I think he was able to, as race control, not sure how to deem it because of the blipping that happened. They weren't, at certain moments, the 29 was gone from other drivers, so there is not sure how they're going to be deeming this penalty from race control standards. Because if you bring out a yellow, you get hit with an EOL penalty. But first caution of the night, Zach got to see a little bit of green flag racing. But again, when or if will we see drivers come to pit road? Because they've only got 3 sets of tires and fuel loads 90%.
Yeah, I think with the 3 sets of tires sitting in pit road, I think that's why we've seen everybody say, no, we're good going down here, even on lap 17. I mean, you would think, man, a lot of people would want to come down pit road here after that type of run on those tires, a decent sized run there. I tell you, I think it's the good call here. You cannot waste the set of tires. If we get a few more cautions thrown in there, no stage cautions here. Or if you get a few random cautions sprinkled in there at the end of the race, you're going to want to have a set of tires because it's just going to be able to allow you to have that grip down in 3 and 4 mostly. That will allow you to be so much quicker. This track is one of the more interesting racetracks in my opinion with this package. It does give you a little bit more option in my opinion than a lot of the other mile and a half where it's mostly stick to full throttle for the first 20 laps. I'd say here this track, I'd say you're probably lifting after 10, maybe even 8 laps due to 3 and 4 being so flat. And even in the dirty air, you're probably lifting it earlier than that. So it gives you a little bit more room to be able to be different than the driver ahead of you, make that speed up. And it's one of the more interesting tracks for sure. But everybody elected not to pit here because tires are at a premium.
Well, the majority of this field decided not to take tires, but there were a few drivers that decided otherwise. That of Derek Offerman, Travis Butt, Jason Gratton, Brian Burchett, Ken Campbell, and Travis Dart all came into pit road to get tires. For Travis Dart, also tires and repairs. First DNF of the night, going to be Cole Sacchetti, who is calling it quits after too much damage, did not want to get repairs done, and then be calling it a night. But hey, now we're going to be seeing a little bit of contrast. What does 17 laps older tires look like to drivers that just came into pit road, and how well can they move forward? Because yes, having fresh tires is really nice, but I think if anything, the dirty air is going to be the biggest factor that could stall out these drivers getting up to like 10th place or so, even with the advantage that they have.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with those tires. They're just so far back that this will this is going to be wild. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an incident possibly from this. This is something that shakes the race up. It kind of throws it on its head when you have a smaller group of drivers. When you have a large group of field that is take tires, they're going to have to be going through a major portion of the traffic here. So those guys on the older tires are going to have to be watching out because there's going to be some people on new tires that are going to be looking to stick it to their inside at probably any moment.
Oh, absolutely. And again, where the drivers lie currently, it's Cameron Sarton, Scott Rickard, as well as Andrew Medlin, Timmy McNally, Nate Lynch, Dylan Grimm, Kyle Bowling, as well as that of Dylan Glass, and Patrick Hasty. Nick Holland going to be your top 10. First 25, decided not to come into pit road under a first yellow. 26th back to 31st, all decided to come into pit road to get service done, either tires and fuel and some repairs. Others, mostly it was just tires and repairs as the drivers are pacing around. Zach, we got to see a little bit of green flag racing for these drivers, but I got to say, for some, they were probably hoping to race a little bit longer, get a little bit more of a feel in a sense. And speaking of feeling, we've got ourselves a sponsor that's all about feeling. Why not go get yourself a game or two from Butt Kicker? Feel what you've been missing. Use our promo code FreakyFast20 to get yourself 20% off of getting yourself a game or two from Butt Kicker. It is best way to enhance your racing. Been hearing it from the pros, hearing it from other drivers. It just gives you another element of sensation on how to drive these vehicles in any different way, and as well can enhance in how you're watching other things on your computer when you're on your racing rig. Get yourself a game or two from Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been missing. As the drivers are on the backstretch, they're stacked up and ready to go. Zach, on this restart, older tires, wheel spin might be a factor to watch out for.
Very well could be here, Sam. The wheel spin here at this point is very probable. This track is a newer surface. It is colder here tonight on with the nighttime weather we got here. So there should be a lot of grip, but still these cars have a very decent amount of horsepower, and they will be looking to light these rear tires up possibly in this restart zone. Got to watch for that one for sure.
Drivers are getting prepared, pace car is off, and we wait for the green flag. Already taken off. It's going to be Cameron Sarn. He did not wait for the green flag. He just waited until the pace car was off, and he is gone. Already going to be having a 2-3 car length lead over that of Scott Rickard, and Rickard's going to find some space. Our top five hoping to get single file, but Medlin into McNally stay side by side coming out of turn number 2.
Great battles here already to start off this green flag. McNally trying to hold on to that spot. Rickard, we saw how far he drove up on his restart. He's trying to take more advantage here. But Andrew Medlin here going to try to make position up on the 88 here as he slots in. Oh, no, he can't as Grimm gets to his outside quarter panel.
Dylan Grimm, and that's the one thing, when you're in the inside, it's more so with the draft that's going to be helping the drivers that are in line on the front stretch and the back stretch. Medlin not giving up, still fighting strong, and behind them, also seeing other drivers fighting, that of Nate Lynch and also Dylan Glass continue to race on. But a feature that we love to show off, I mean, I gotta say, Zach, it's been fun to watch these drivers and how they attack as we ride on board with this of Andrew Medlin as he sees that of Dylan Grimm pulling away.
Oh, man, definitely as you see now, he's going to slide back. He's actually going to have, looks like here, Nate Lynch in the 25, who's drove from 13th down into the top 5, probably make the pass down into 1. Yes, he does slide up in front of the 12, and you got to say, oh, man, it's Medlin tried to make the move. It just shows you with this package, when you try to make a move, it pushes you farther back, as now even Kyle Bowling, or sorry, that's Dylan Glass in the 42, getting back up in there to the inside. So right now, Medlin trying his best to hold on to spots.
But he goes so high, trying to mark his way through, get a massive run on the front stretch, and able to hold on for this position of 6th, and finally gets in line. Just showing, like you noted on Zach, make a move, and if it doesn't stick, you're going the wrong direction. And just like in a blink of an eye, the 12 went from battling up in 3rd to now back to 6th. As we take an outer look of where drivers are at currently, want to give note, we were wondering how well Fresh Tires were going to do. Currently, the highest runner of the drivers of Fresh Tires, Travis Budd, he went from all the way back to 26th, now to 18th, the 00. He is on the move and making these tires work.
Yeah, these tires here are going to be making him like Superman, and we saw, remember, he utilized a strategy like this to put himself in position. Last week it didn't work out with the finish due to the contact between him and King Campbell, but that was the strategy that allowed Travis Butt to push himself farther up this order here and put himself in a good position. But here he's driving through the field in these 4 tires. I would not be surprised if this thing stays green. He will drive through the lead.
Well, with 4 tires, he's feeling comfortable and confident, and now going to be forcing it 3 wide back here, and they're also 3 wide ahead of him, almost 4 wide, as Aaron Hale thinks about forcing to the outside, but there goes the draft, and showing, even with draft help, the pressure to rubber, it's so much more useful. Wade stuck in the middle, and he backs out of it, and there goes the 00 Travis Budd, now up to 13th. He is taking off like a rocket ship. The next driver with 4 fresh tires is going to be that of Derek Offerman, but he's only back in 20th.
Oh, man, Travis Butt definitely getting the most out of those. Here's we'll see now Offerman, what's he got to offer up for us here. As he goes to the inside, just shows these tires here, he can turn up under people, carry the speed here, and really drive forward here. As now he's under the 24 of Brian Lynch there, and making passes on the move. And always 3 wide, heavy down to the 1. Traffic is getting crazy with these new tires moving through.
They're trying to make these big, bold moves as quickly as possible, and that's why we're going to be seeing and hearing a lot of oohs and ahs, because drivers have the grip level to make these types of moves. We move back up to Travis Butt, who's now about to crack the top 10. Going to be forcing it 3 wide once again for himself, and trying to get by that of Kyle Bowling, and it's well denied. And Patrick Hasty, there goes the 00 up to 9th, and he is not slowing down. The speed difference, 3/10 that last time by compared to our leader.
Yeah, he's just mowing them down at the moment here as he continues to move forward. Next person on the list, Nick Holland and Dylan Glass here in the 42, down to 3 and 4. You can see this is the difference of tires here. This is 17 laps here, and it just shows you 4 fresh tires here and 4 Goodyear tires will make the biggest difference in these race cars. And right now, Travis Butt driving to the front.
Travis Butt, he is now going to be off sequence compared to the primarily most of this field. So now you're going to hope that the strategy Colin Gamble works. Did he think out if we went green the whole entire way, if this was going to work out for himself? Because he's now left with just 2 sets of tires in pit road, while the rest of the field, they still have 3 sets to work with. As there goes the 00. I mean, it's really the entry and center of the corner. It is impressive how much more speed these drivers can carry, as We take a drone view going over the field and taking a look at them coming across the line. Travis Butt trying to crack into the top 10. Leader still that Cameron Sarton, Scott Rickard, Timmy McNally, Dylan Grimm, and now Travis Butt going to be your top 5 coming through. And now coming out of turn number 2. Got to say for this 0-0. Good to see him moving up and being quick. We've been waiting for this all season long and almost throws it all away up against the wall. Travis Butt, the wrong contact, wrong move, and saw all of that advantage maybe go up in smoke.
Oh, man, that could have been devastating there for him. It looks like he did suffer a good bit of right front damage. The new tires are still going to be an advantage for him. But that damage is definitely going to hurt the straight line speed and the ability of that car. Man, what a crazy moment there. It looks like he was trying to dive to the inside of Dylan Grimm. Grimm was looking to cover off the inside. And, man, he had to slam on the brakes not to run Grimm over.
And now, I mean, Travis Butt was up to 5th, and then the next closest driver on 4 Fresh Tires was Derek Offerman, and Offerman's just been patient as you see the 20 passing by the 9 of Patrick Hasty, and Hasty now going to be trying to use the draft toe of the 20 on the straightaway, right on board with 31 of Trey Jackson, and Jackson doing his best on the high line, but man, struggle in that moment. Now we have put a poll down into the chat if you'd like to interact with that. We're asking you, last time we were at a mile-and-a-half course, it was Ken Campbell winning, and that was the last race he won when he went on his first 3 wins of the season. For the 15, he is mired all the way back to 26th. Doesn't look like now he might be a driver to win, but if you'd like to decide and vote, who do you think Ken Campbell can get another win here tonight and get win number 4 of the season?
It's going to be a tough road ahead for Ken Campbell for sure. And that 15 machine he's still mired back there in 25th, so trying to make his way through. Just has not had that shot here tonight. It just shows you how important qualifying can be and put yourself up in track position wise, up in position. And to tell you what, Sam, these guys who have hit pit road and took those tires early in this race, if it goes green from here, they're in a really good spot. I mean, we're going to do a 2-stop race here tonight if it would have stayed green. And right now they got 2 sets of tires left. So if it was to play out green, they'd be perfectly in the zone. But man, if there is a caution that comes out here before, I'd say around lap 45 here, 50, you're going to be questioning whether you want to take that second set of tires and have only 1 left for the rest of this race.
Did you say caution? Because this gaggle of cars could be where we find our caution coming out. The 33, Brian Burchett, going to be trying to duck under Mike Lynch. Not able to do so just yet. But this field, we're looking like we're racing at a super speedway with how side-by-side racing they are now heading into turn number 1.
It definitely does, Sam. I mean, this is wild action here back here around the 20th position with Brian Burchett there. You got the 53 of Christopher Wade up top. He's been trying to move his way back forward after driving up to the field. And that caution is definitely brought together a big group of these guys. There's Brent Sobers up there to 17. He's looking to go through the middle up there. Man, this is so fun to watch here. These great battles. I believe we're going to jump on board here now, Brent Sobers.
Yeah, taking a look from the 17's point of view, who's up front of this large pack. And again, we got to see that of Andrew Medlin and his focus face. We're now seeing that same here for Andrew Medlin. And for a lot of these drivers are holding on. And oh boy, scary situation. And luckily for Ben Summers, he gets a good chuckle out of that when it could have been disastrous for this pot of cars.
That could have been disaster for sure. And definitely a great job by Summers there just to laugh that one off. That could have definitely been a frustrating situation, but that's how you got to handle it as a driver. So behind him, he's got some runs coming from behind as that Chris Wade goes to his inside. This has really stacked everything up. Brian Burchett up above him, trying to go to his outside. And it's showing Kentucky here having some potential for some great racing with multiple groups.
Multiple grooves, and also, I mean, with the fact that these drivers are stuck where they're at, I mean, they're just boxed in, feeling kind of helpless at some moments, hoping that your lane's the one that takes off. But right now, I mean, we're just seeing it's like a teeter-totter. They keep going back and forth on who's leading who, and now diving it to the middle goes Brett Sommers, trying to get by that of Mark Beverly, and will do so, moving up another position, but now leading the outside lane as we take another outside view of what the drivers are dealing with. Still side-by-side racing behind that of the 17. And a couple of these drivers, the 33 of Brian Burchett, took 4 tires for himself. That's why we're seeing the 33 staying low and being so aggressive. But I got to say, Zach, I feel like if you're going to take tires, you've got to be aggressive early on. And now we're actually going to be moving up because we're now starting to see those other drivers that were battling. It's Travis Butt up to second now. Even with getting into the wall, his challenge up to get up to the lead, it is not over yet.
It definitely isn't over. He's driven his way right to the back bumper of our leader here, Cameron Sargent. Also, you can't forget about Derek Hoffman. He's trying to drive up into the top 5 here with Dylan Grimm in that 20 machine. And Hoffman was the driver that was taking his time a little bit more. He wasn't, taking as many chances as Butt did. And you see Butt got that damage from those chances he took. And right now, Hoffman, he's going to be the one without damage, but it does seem like the pace is not coming or sticking with Offerman here as these tires start to wear back in. It looks like he's starting to get into the zone where he's pretty much running the same lap times as the guys around him, but is showing tremendous pace here as he works this outer groove trying to get a run.
Well, that was the thing I was going to touch on, actually. I mean, watching, Brian Burchett and the other drivers further back that actually took 4 tires, they seemed to be very passive. I mean, they were trying to be aggressive at moments, but not willing to fully dive into aggressive moves to try to go for these big passes and risks to take. Well, Travis Butt, Derek Offerman a little bit more passive than Travis Butt, but still willing to go 2-3 wide to make big moves. And that's why we're seeing the 0-0 right on the back bumper of the 13, Cameron Sargent, which I got to say, when we're on equal footing, this 13 looking dominating here tonight. I don't know if anyone can beat him. It has to be off strategies like this that we're seeing the 0-0 challenge our leader.
Yeah, he is driven away from Scott Rickard and everybody that's on his strategy here. About a second gap back to those group, but here goes Butt. He finally makes the pass down into 1 and 2. And right here, we'll see what Sargent can do. Can he hook on here, pull even farther away from this group, or does the dirty air affect him? And how does the air affect that damage on the 0-0's nose as he goes way higher? 3, he's going to get the inside of Sargent, but he's going to try to have that run off. But this right here, I think, is just slowing him down, racing side by side.
Yeah, trying to race as hard as they can, and issues for the 15 of Ken Campbell. Campbell might be calling it a night after it seemed to be technical issues, hitting himself coming out of turn number 4 2 laps ago, was parked it in the grass, and now seems to be done. We'll wait and see if that Ken Campbell comes back into this race, but it is not looking good for our 3-time winner this season.
A very interesting scenario here. It seems to be just sitting in the middle of the infield here, Sam. So, yeah, I guess some type of technical issue where he had to pull off the track quickly here, and he's still sitting there. So we'll see what happens with that. But Travis Butt still out front is Offerman still having a little bit of trouble getting by the 23 agreement as he finally gets into that top 5.
You see there the 15 where he's just sitting and waiting, and that's where he parked it, and we have not seen him get reconnected into this race since he disconnected from that spot that he was at. But we move back up to 5th position. Derek Offerman has now made the pass to 5th place, and you're looking at the pace laps that are being put down from that of Travis Butt and also Derek Offerman, you can kind of tell Offerman's gone with the more so of the long run speed and willing to be patient and start to move forward. But Zach, for the drivers that did not come to pit road soon could be a place for a lot of these drivers.
It very well could be getting pretty interesting here at pit road. I was thinking around 45 is when that pit road window will open up with a normal race scenario playing out. So right here, I think you could see him stretch it maybe a little bit farther due to that caution. Just, with the trying to stretch the tires may help for later in the race, have less tire runs. But, man, I would say it's definitely about that time for those drivers. The question is, when does Travis Butt, when does Derek Offerman come down? Because they don't want to go too much farther. Ooh, some driver back there had a big moment. Looks like that was Nate Lynch at 25. He gathers it up down into 3, though. But definitely soon for strategy start to play out.
Yeah, and first driver to come in from everyone that's on the lead lap, going to be John Dart in the 66 into pit road, going to be taking fuel and tires. The rest of the field still has not shown indications that they're going to be coming in, but we continue to watch side-by-side racing. This for that of watching the drivers for 6th all the way back for that of 10th place side-by-side, and now it's Nick Holland trying to gain a few more positions for himself, up to 12 spots, and doing a great job. And now getting word the 25 Nate Lynch seems to be coming in this time by.
Yes, he is. 25. He's had enough after that big moment there on the back straightaway. He's going to bring it down here. And yeah, this is right around when I thought they would pit. Oh, big moment from here as he hits the inside.
Oh, no.
And that is terrible, Sam. Major damage for him. And that, early pit stop here, a little bit earlier than I would expect. and also damage. That's not good for 25.
And also behind going to be the 59, Max Ward into pit road. Hearing Cameron Sarton might be thinking about pit road as well for himself. So front runners deciding to come in now. Pit road is busy. Cameron Sarton into pit road as he's heading down into his pit box. And got to say for the 13, good clean entry. Now for everyone else, they've got to hope that they don't make the same mistake the 25 or get caught speeding into pit road.
Yeah, no mistakes is critical here for pit road. It's a place that you can definitely win a race from, but you can also lose the race from very quickly if you make big mistakes like that you've seen from the 25, and it's easy to do. It's one thing I know myself has struggled with in the past, so it's a thing the driver has, some nightmares about, going down pit road. This is where I could make that one big mistake, especially where you're in pressure situations like the 13, but he did a great job there in Cameron Sarton. Get in his box, not speed, and do everything perfect here. Just got to make sure he exits pit road correctly, and he should be good to go getting back out there. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out now with when Travis Butt and Derek Hoffman decide to finally pit.
Another cluster of cars into pit road. Brian Lynch, Steven Anderson, Haas Beverly, and John Shalano are going to be the next driver into pit road, getting service done for themselves. We're also waiting for, again, other front runners. This is the big pack that we've been keeping our eye on. Again, this is from about 5th on to back to around that of 12th position that we're watching this group. If you're right on board with 31 of Trey Jackson, when you're side by side like this, you're hoping that you don't run each other over into pit road, but this is very easy that we might see someone make this type of mistake of just running into one another if there is a lack of communication.
Yeah, this entry here to pit road is actually one of the harder ones. You got a flat entry here, especially with the corner being flatter, so you're already a little bit slower, and then you got to go way down the inside, and then it really does turn here at the last second. When you're turning and on the brake, that's when you see moments like with Mike Lynch there, and look, that was Brian Lynch or the Nate Lynch, sorry, that was the Lynch King there, but yeah, the 23 there, Grimm almost had the same mistake too. The car really wants to over-rotate there under braking.
Got to be careful, and for a lot of these drivers, they're doing a great job of staying as careful as they can. Top 15 still needs to come into pit road. We're starting to see more drivers trickling in, as also Jason Bratton going to be another driver that came in during the Trey Jackson, Dylan Grimm pit stops. Now it's going to be Nick Holland coming into pit road with the 44. Bowling following suit. And now for sure, we've got our front two drivers on track. Those are the two that came into pit road back on lap 17. And there we'll be thinking about pit road here in probably the next 10 to 15 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting scenario with that because, really with Butt running a similar lap times to what Sarton was at the point when he passed him there, it could very well not play out very well for the 00 because he's going to have that damage from the start of this next run. Yeah, he'll have the advantage of them taking it longer here, but the pace kind of evened out. So really everything right here could very well play out to hurt them because they didn't pull a gap here to help stretch it longer.
Hoping their best as we ride on board with the 88, Tim McNally and the Skittles machine getting himself into his pit box. Gotta hope you don't slide through your pit box and make any type of mistakes. Again, so far the only driver that has made a mistake has been Nate Lynch in the 25. Everyone else has been keeping it pretty close and clean, as we see that of George Kosick in the 65, waiting for him to come into pit road. And I gotta say, as everyone's been trickling into pit road, Zach, we were wondering for Derek Offerman, was his strategy of staying patient and passive, was it going to work out? And it seems like it has. He's now right on the back bumper of that of Travis Butt. And also, it helps that Travis Butt made the mistake of hitting the outside wall.
It definitely helped. I think that 00 didn't hit that outside wall. He would have had a pretty big gap. But at the same time, Derek Offerman, like you said, he played the safer game, and it has played out pretty well for him here. He's caught right back up to the 00. He's probably got more pace also than this 00 right now due to that damage on the 00, and his tires probably just overall being better from him driving it a lot easier there. And tell you what, looking at these points here, Sam, these are two guys that need good nights here. 22nd right here coming in tonight is Derek Offerman. It seemed like he was always in the top 10 in the Xfinity car. Only 2 top 10s in the first 5 races. Maybe tonight we'll add on to that third. And then you also got to look back all the way to 28th for Travis Butt. Had such a good run going last week at Pocono. Last lap. And man, he's only had 1 top 10 the whole season. He was he was one of those final 4 contenders. So man, it's definitely an interesting scenario for these two who had great seasons last season. But right now tonight, it could be their time to break back into that zone and get into the playoffs.
That is what they're hoping for. Stay consistent, get back to what those Xfinity races were like. Also, if you're in the chat and you'd like to interact, we had our first poll wondering, would Ken Campbell get the win? Well, I think we got our answer pretty quick. He got disconnected and is not reconnected back to the race, currently 16 laps down. So we got another question for you. As yellow flag waves, we'll get back to that question in a second. As a huge melee on the front stretch, multiple drivers involved. And our biggest runner of those, the 23, Dylan Grimm, going to be involved in this one.
Oh, and this is huge, Sam. This is called everyone who's pit a lap down. Cameron Sargent's going to get the lucky dog for his sake there in the 13. But every other driver who has hit pit road, they're called a lap down here.
Oh, this is, like I said, a miscommunication being thrown could bring out a melee, and this is exactly what it did. George Kovacic going to be the driver that was trying to come into pit road, but had such a large cluster of drivers around him that when he got onto his brakes, tried to slow down, multiple drivers reacted and brought out the big one.
Yeah, and that's the chain reaction. Like you said there, you got some drivers on new tires also trying to come through very quickly, and it checks up like that, and man, you have nowhere to go. What a major incident, Sam. You definitely called that one as what could have possibly been the incident tonight.
And now, as you see more drivers piling in, kind of what we call ARCA breaking it, where you see smoke, see an issue, drivers calling it out, see yellow flag, but instead of getting on the brakes, you just go full song through the wreck, and you see there the 25. Ooh, try to sneak on by, and luckily didn't hit anything, but certainly a lot of drivers, you know, we've kind of preached about it a lot, Zach, and other leagues that we cover here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Use the brake. You have it. Use it. Let's not ruin our nights, especially other drivers' nights when no one has a fast repair. In a pit road, though, are all the drivers that did not make pit road previously. And that means we're going to be seeing Derek Offerman, Chris Wade, Travis Dart, and others all come into pit road. Well, the rest of the field, they're going to have to take a wave around to get back on the lead lap.
Oh man, this has really changed things up. They're going to all these guys taking a wave around. They're going to have to look to hopefully get a caution this, bring everything back to more normal playing field. Luckily for their sake, it wasn't too many laps later from where they pitted. It will be not the craziest of wear on the tires, but they will still be at a major disadvantage here. Sarton, he's going to get the lucky dog. He'll have to start to tail in the longest line, but it should be ahead of the cars at the wave round, so could work out for him there. But a lot of guys went out this. Major ones, of course, Travis Butt, Derek Offerman, but Travis Dort, George Kovacic, who was involved in the incident. We'll see how his damage plays out. Looks like mostly that was just rear end damage for him, so he may be all right. Christopher Wade, Brian Burchett, and also Doug Pierce in that machine. They're all looking to benefit from this, Sam.
And we now have multiple drivers now going to be added into, well, actually just one more driver added into our DNF call-in. Dylan Grimm going to be calling it a night for himself. We're going to step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, it's going to be more hard racing at Kentucky Speedway for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. We'll be back in just a few. coming in hot, and we are green for race number 6 at Kentucky for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. It's Derek Offerman, also Wade, Burchett, Bud, Dart, and Pierce going to be your top 6 driving up front. Here comes Chris Wade, going to be making the charge on the inside, trying to get by the 20 machine.
What a move here, Sam. Christopher Wade, we've seen his teammate and Ken Campbell win multiple races this season, 3 to start out, and he helped them in a couple of them. He's now looking for his chance to get out front. But Offerman, he says, I need to bounce back to Wade. You're third in points. I'm way down the list. I need a win here to get myself in the playoffs. And I tell you what, here, they're fighting strong. But here comes even Brian Burchett. Man, this caution has shook everything up, Sam. We got some new players in this field.
Top 7, all drivers with the freshest tires. Everyone from 8th on back came in and are on completely different strategies on one another as we ride on board with that and seeing the 33 and his rear bumper to Travis Butt. But one of the drivers that was so aggressive early on, but this caution, I gotta say, for Zach, it helps Travis a lot because he needed time to get repairs done after getting into the wall during that green flag run. The 00, he's right back to his max speed.
Oh, he's right back for sure. They fixed that thing up good looking at it. And it's still going to be a little bit of a hindrance, but we've seen him do great with all the damage. So any bit of fixing of it was going to help that 00. And with all those drivers having to take the wave, it was so little drivers on that lead lap. He had plenty of time to get fixed. He's definitely got to be feeling great now in this 00 after last week. Possibly looking to get that top 3. Had the incident with Ken Campbell, and now he's right back here in the top 5, fighting it up.
Again, thanks for joining us Thursday night broadcast here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Stars and Stripes Cup Series here tonight. My name is Sam Dyer. Zach Hall is my co-commentator. Running productions, Robert Moyer, as we see the drivers in the middle of the pack starting to get a little bit more antsy. And you're wondering, will they collect one another as they continue to race on? We've seen, Zach, these drivers in the middle of the pack go 2. Now we're seeing it now almost 3 wide coming across the line. But everyone in the middle of the pack, they're on such different strategies. Some pitted just, about 10 laps ago. Others pit 20 laps ago. There's such a diversity, and they've got to be careful with one another.
Oh, it's all over the place for sure. As we go on to our driver cam here for the 10 machine, Chris Esser has had the greatest night for him, but he's broken to the top 15 for starting 29th. This, I would say, one of more of his lackluster runs this season, but you never know. He could be looking to gain some spots here up ahead of him as Patrick Hasty checks up a little bit along with John Dart as he pulls himself up into position, but always the calm, cool, and collected Chris Esser here we got on the driver cam.
Yeah, they always seems to be focused. Even in that moment where you saw him get loose on the entry of the corner, still kept calm, even though those hands were seesawing back and forth.
That was a big moment there for him. He had to really catch that race car down here in the 3 now. He's going to have the 9 slide up in front of him. And when you have that car slide up right in front of you, look, it's going to check that 10 up. He's actually going to have now the 12 of Medlin on his inside fighting strong. And this is tough, man. You see him laughing away, saying, man, just sometimes in this package, you just feel like you can't get anything done. I don't know if he was laughing at being stuck there or what, being talked about in the team room, but it's always cool to see with the driver cam, the reaction from these drivers.
Yeah, and I think it's another big thing. Team rooms, these drivers usually racing and talking to 2 to 3 other drivers at a time during these races, so they're always trying to stay focused. As drivers up front, they're going to be moving up to the battling for that of 9th, 10th place, as currently for that of 9th place, they're going to be 3 wide currently, and watching them stay on top of one another. Watch out, it's Greg Kovacic, also Brett Summers, Timmy McNally into the 65. Woo, they're just not giving each other enough space up here, Zach. They're piling on one another.
When I went back and looked at that, Sam, I was like, how are they not into each other already? Did they make the contact? Unfortunately for Kovacic's sake, he's able to save it. But definitely a tight squeeze there with 3 cars with the 65. Really almost running 2.5 lanes off the bottom there. So I don't know how they squeezed that together.
We will never know how they did that or how they're going to survive. Up front, top 6. Again, these are drivers that were able to come into pit road because it just worked out strategy-wise with the timing of the caution that came out. Driver we rarely talk about, one of our rookies coming into this season, Doug Pierce, 6th place currently here, Zach, but he's about to be challenged by one of our front runners each and every week. Scott Rickards right on that back tailpipe.
Scott Rickard here trying to take advantage in that 05 and get himself farther up the grid. I believe he also had to take that wave around. So he's had to driven himself back up into this position. Now he's actually jumped ahead of Cameron Sargent in all of that battle. And got to remember, Sargent pitted there kind of at the earliest point compared to a lot of these drivers. So he's actually not benefited a lot from this caution, even though he did get the lucky dog. But the big thing for those drivers, they still have 2 sets for themselves, Sam, while the rest of the drivers up ahead of them, they only have 1 set.
Yeah, and those drivers up ahead, as we see this battling raging on for 6th place. But those drivers that already came into pit road and are left with only 1 set until we get to the end of this race. Travis Butt, Travis Dart, Brian Burchett, and Derek Offerman. That is 2nd to 5th. Those 4 drivers, if another caution comes out, they're going to have to be in a very tough situation of either using their final set or waiting for a later caution.
Yeah, and the big question is, when do you make your final green flag pit stop here if we continue to have a long run like we had last time? I personally would be somewhere thinking around that 95 to around lap 100 mark there, to take it around 35 to, 33 to go. So it's going to be a questionable stance for these guys, especially if it's your last set of tires. You're going to take it as far as you possibly can. But if you get undercut, it very well could not work out for yourself also. So, man, and then we can see the same thing play out with the cautions with guys on different sequence of tires and hitting pit road. So we could be in for one here at the end.
Yeah, and also one thing of note, as we see Brett Somers able to get by Cameron Sarton, you threw out Sarton being one of those drivers that pitted the earliest under green flag pit stops. He's currently on 26 lap old tires, while the other drivers all around them, they're on 18 to 20 lap old tires. So that's a 5 to 10 lap difference currently that we're seeing the 13 dealing with. Everyone around him is right on board with the 88 teammate McNally. Once again, side by side with George Kovacic. They just cannot get away from one another since the restart.
These two seem to be battling since, like you said, since we went back green. And man, the 88 squeezing down in front of the 65, who's still there. It's definitely close race, and we've already seen contact between these two. Don't want to see any more of that for their sakes, because we know how much it hurts the race cars here. Luckily for their sakes, it didn't look like the contact last time really even hurt the cars too much. So right here, really hard racing down the back straightaway.
It's kind of thrown off these drivers, as we don't usually get to see George Kovacic racing with Tim McNally or other front runners. Usually we're seeing the 68 running around 15th to 20th position, around that realm, while the 88 is usually up in the top 10. And so for some of these drivers, they're now learning different driving styles that they maybe weren't used to, and there's a lot of trust that has to go on as we're riding on the tailpipes of the 88. In a look of that of Nick Holland, who's trying to decide which driver does he want to work with on the straightaways.
And that's the beauty of this style racing here, Sam, with league racing. You get to know the drivers you race around week in and week out as they make contact once again in the 65 as he watches on the racetrack. That's going to check him up a little bit. And there goes Nick Holland around the outside in the 68 as the 88 McNally takes that position. But it looks like Kovacic going to hold on to the bottom groove there, as now Holland looks like he possibly could clear, but no, Kovacic right back to him. But yeah, it's the beauty of league racing, man. You get to know the drivers around you that you race each and every week. And then sometimes you'll have a guy that you don't race that much, and you'll be like, he's doing things different than the other drivers I race. So it's always an interesting scenario to race someone that you haven't raced too much in a league. But I tell you what, it's always fun to see them mix up personalities like that.
Well, we talked about the fact that some drivers are going to get an advantage from the caution that came out. Well, our top 5 certainly have taken the advantage and pulled away with it, with over a 4-second lead over that of 6th position. It's going to be that of the 53, Christopher Wade, Travis Butt, Travis Dart, Brian Burchett, Derek Offerman, your top 5 as they continue to race on. And now pick and choose who wants to be aggressive and be up front leading this race, and who wants to fall behind and just stay where they're at.
That's a good question, Sam. And I tell you what, of the top 5, you got to feel good for Christopher Wade, just due to the fact that he's also got another set that these guys don't have, the other 4 behind. So it's got to feel very good and confident about that in the 53 machine. And like I said, he's been top 3 for a lot of this season so far. He's shown a lot of pace. He's been 3rd in points up to this point, the first driver without a win in the point standings. He's looking to break through. But I tell you what, Travis, but drivers like that are very hungry also, because they need this for their playoff hopes.
Absolutely. And I got to say, we're listening to drivers radio during that altercation with Haas Beverly coming up. Lead lap driver said, hey, just go high, we'll go on by. And in a quick motion, 22 went to the higher lane, and you saw it there. Gets cleanly out of the leader's way. You love to see that from the lap cars when they're easily just recognizing, I just got to get out of the way and let these drivers race on.
Yeah, especially someone Haas Beverly right now. He's 16 laps down. He's limping around this racetrack. He's just trying to put laps in. There's no reason to go out here and get involved with something with a faster driver out here, because you're just holding them up and really you're just out here to complete laps. So if you get in an incident, that most likely will take you out of making more laps. So right there, it just would just be counterintuitive for the goal and mine for this 22. Who's right now again trying to gain anything. If someone else wrecks out of this race at this point, he's only 16 laps down. He still can gain spots.
Still trying to gain as many as they can, and just got a report typed in our chat from that of Ken Campbell from Campbell Racing. The issue was a lockup with the graphics. Graphics locked up, hold it down low, and luckily didn't take anyone out. We're happy you didn't take anyone out either. We hope that the graphics issue gets fixed for next week, and we hope to see you back out on track. That was from Ken Campbell that got that clarification. And Zach, I got to say, those are virtual side of racing. Those are kind of when just something breaks in the car that you were not expecting to break.
Yeah, it's a tough scenario. We talk about mechanical, retirements in real life racing. Well, that's kind of like a mechanical retirement for us. We are dealing with, computers and drivers and all types of different things and computers that can get so confusing for the normal person that it's just out of the blue. So I feel like those are our mechanical failures, and they can happen at any time to the best of us. So it's unfortunate that happened to King Campbell. Luckily for him, though, he's the driver that is is the most fortunate for a situation like that with those 3 wins already.
Absolutely, and we hope for you to have a successful return next week. Going to be at Chicagoland. The week after that, going to be at Richmond, then Phoenix. These upcoming races, they're going to be good ones to watch. So make sure you've got Thursday nights circled up, and you're ready to watch it all here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. As we're seeing some of the drivers further back, this is the battle currently going on for 20th. Trey Jackson trying to hold off that of Steven Anderson, and also Jason Gratton, who will continue to race on. And they're hoping for a lot of these drivers back here. They want a caution to get back on the same stint of the drivers ahead of them.
Yeah, this is the group of drivers that hit pit road and had to take those waves that have been on these older tires for a while now, and they definitely are looking for a yellow salmon. They don't want. What they really don't want to see is this thing stretch out to where we get another green flag pit stop here involved, and then another yellow happen then. They want to see this thing happen now if it's going to happen, but I really think we're almost 10 laps to 15 laps away from our first or our last set of green flag pit stops we see tonight. It's going to be a big question for these guys when they want to hit pit road, because they got that same thing in the back of their mind. Man, I hit pit road last time when I thought I needed to. Caution flag flown, and now I'm trapped back here. So it's a terrible thing to be thinking about this as a driver, but man, you got to pick the right time to hit pit road if you want to be in the right position.
Yeah, and I mean, currently right now, the drivers are inside of that window. If they decide to come into pit road now, they will make it to the end, but it's figuring out, do you want to be the driver that undercuts, the driver that stays out the longest, or do you like that sweet middle? It seems like the driver that finds that middle ground is the one that usually finds it himself in victory lane.
There's like Gratton here, a little moment for him here as he's checking up in the back straight. Not sure if he's looking to come to pit road here. No, it doesn't look like it, but just definitely a major moment for him as he checks up. But it looks like John Shalano there from 24th, last car on the lead lap there. He's going to hit pit road this time.
Yeah, it'll just look like he had a very awkward transition of trying to get back onto the track. When I went back to rewatch at the lap car of Haas Beverly, just poor timing for the drivers coming out of the corner. It looked like for the 46, had to duck very low, hurting himself on speed and positions. Talk about when drivers are going to come into pit road. Patrick Hasty, John Shalano, going to be the first 2 drivers deciding to hit pit road, but it might be a little bit too soon, unless you really can get a huge advantage moving forward. I mean, we've seen fresh tires, just 17 lap pressure tires, have a major advantage. Now for a lot of these drivers, they're going to have anywhere from 30 to 40 lap advantage. That is going to be flying through this course where drivers are taking tires now.
Yeah, tires are going to be a huge advantage from what we've seen so far. Got to give a huge shout out to that 209 Travis Dart, man. Remember earlier in this race, he started that 4th spot, but he was quickly all the way back to the outside the top 20 due to a little bit of contact that slided him back. And man, he's driven himself back up here to 3rd with the way this is all played out. Now we even got a battle for the lead as Travis Butt. He says pit stops are nearing. I want to get this lead here with Christopher Wade.
Hey, sometimes you learn from one stint to the next one. You learn maybe I needed to back off, not be too aggressive. And now, in the later stages, trying to make sure he's got that long run speed, it's Travis Dart on the back bumper of Christopher Wade. Been this close, thought and tried to make a pass, wasn't able to do so. And now, going to be faltering back into line Now has to wait up for another couple of positions as a little bit of a server blip there for I think everyone here as everyone disappeared for a quick second. Luckily, we hope that doesn't happen again. But that was an everyone issue for a quick moment there. Into pit road though, here's Zach. Surprised to see Cameron Sarton into pit road for the 13.
Yeah, Cameron Sarton, he's had enough of the old tires there. He hits pit road. He's got to be thinking in the back of his mind here, no cautions, please. We just need this to play out and cycle through. If we do have another caution, he's going to have an extra set in his backhand. But man, right now he had to hit pit road with how much time he was losing if he wants to have a chance for a good finish here to set him up if this goes green.
And Cameron Sarton in pit road for a little bit of extra time, wasting over 5 seconds in pit road. You hate to see the time mistakes being made. And just like that, our favorite pole sitter coming into tonight's race, the 13, he is going to need a lot of help. He wants to get back into this race as we stay and watching our lead battle. Again, this is Christopher Wade in the 53, Travis Button in the 00, and behind them, the 209, Travis Dart now trying to get in the mix of things.
Yeah, Travis Dart trying to get involved in this here. You got the 3 of Shalano there in the lap car. He's going around the outside. They're up ahead of Travis Butt and Christopher Wade. But yeah, Sarton there, he was on pit road for that extra time, and he's getting the right front fender pulled out on that car. Had a little bit of damage on that 13 to hold him back. The question is, these drivers now with the 1 set tires, Christopher Wade, he's got to be feeling the best about this, with the 2 sets still left for him. But for Travis Butt, Travis Dart, Derek Hoffman, and Brian Burchett here in our top 4, or sorry, top 5, they gotta be feeling pretty nervous about when they hit pit road here. This is going to be their last set for the race, and right here coming to 40 to go, I think they're going to try to wait a good portion before they put this set on.
I mean, if you're in Christopher Wade's position, you can stay out as long as you want. Wait until Travis Butt comes into pit road and pit a lap later, and just always have that advantage going into the later stages of this race. Same kind of goes to any of the other drivers that are in this group, but their goal, they have to make sure they're one of the last drivers going to pit road for second back to 5th, because they do not have another set to work with on tires. You're right on board with the 05, that being Scott Rickard, and for Rickard, this is certainly, he's open to gain any positions, but it's kind of feels a little bit demoralizing knowing that the leaders over 5.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, definitely can be demoralizing when you're like, man, I am quick enough to battle with those guys. I just need to be on the same set of tires and the same strategy as them. But right now, if a caution was to come out, he'd be right in the mix too. 2 sets of tires left for this 05 machine. He had to take the wave last time. He did a great job to drive himself all the way to where he has. He's the first car that has, that took that wave around that is in this position. So he's done a fantastic job to get here. But Scott Rickard, we know how strong he is and how, he's a past champion for sake. So we know how strong he is. He's definitely going to be looking for some type of caution to get him back into a chance to win this thing. But if anything, he can still score a good top 5 here, possibly just right here running 6th, about 2.5 seconds behind that 33.
Oh, now we fall back to 8th position. We find Andrew Medlin. Currently, Medlin, he's kind of in a little bit of no man's land. No one close enough behind to draft with. No one close enough ahead to draft with. He's just running at his own pace, which in some fashions, yes, it's nice because you're not worrying about overcooking your tires by getting any tightness with the draft. But at the same time, you're not getting any of that extra speed. And so the 12 is just limping around, hoping that this race, if a yellow does come out, it's before he comes into pit road.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to have that same scenario play out like it did last time. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of guys wait. Sarton, he took the chance early to go down. I think he's doing that. He just is, he's going for broke here. He thinks that he's got the pace. He also had some damage that maybe wanted to get that fixed. So he hit pit road as he's now the first car 1 lap down as he's got past Patrick Hasty he's just about to pass Patrick Hasty in the 9 and that 13. But looks like more coming down here. Scott Rickard here, he pulls him down.
It's going to be Scott Rickard, Brett Sommers. Also going to be seeing that of George Kovacic, Doug Pierce, Trey Jackson, Brian Lynch, and a couple of others going to be now leaving pit road. This is our biggest cluster of drivers that just came in. Top 7 still need to come into pit road. Steve Anderson's going to be the next driver we expect to come in for 99 that runs in 7th place. But Zach, this is when things get tricky for those that have been staying out, because now you've got the majority of the field on fresher tires. It could accidentally force you to stay out a lap longer than when you want to, as Anderson into pit road now.
Anderson in the pit road, and this is going to be a critical sequence for these drivers now. They want to see it at least cycle through if you hit pit road now. If the caution was to fly now, you're going to say, man, I just put myself right back in that same scenario. So if it does cycle through here, they'll feel a lot better about this pit stop. And if it goes green, they very well could gain time due to this undercut right here, which they've lost sometimes due to other drivers already pitting. But, man, it's going to be an interesting scenario with so many guys on different strategies. And that's where, again, where we see cautions likely to happen is when you got guys on old tires, semi-old tires, and really fresh tires.
Top 5 still need to come into pit road as we're on lap 100, coming to 33 laps to go when they come across the line. And for that of Christopher Wade, Travis Butt, Travis Dart, Derek Offerman, and that of Brian Burchett, they continue to race into the top 5. And honestly, this is incredible to watch here, Zach, but they're expecting to come into pit road anytime from here to another 10 laps. They're expected to come in. But with how long they stay out, they've got to come in here soon because there might not be enough time for them to recover from all this ground that they're giving up.
Yeah, giving up a lot of ground for sure, Sam. You know, it's right now an interesting scenario for them. For Christopher Wade, I feel like he should hit pit road. I feel like his scenario here, he's got 2 sets of tires. If the caution flag was to fly later in this race, he'll be in a good spot either way you look at it. But for Travis Butt, he's got the catch of, man, if I pit now, then we're going to caution 10 laps from here. I'm not going to have, you know, the freshest of tires here that the other drivers will be able to put on. I'm going to be at a disadvantage that I was using earlier in this race. It's really tough to say that, but if you wait too long, like you said, Sam, you put yourself way too far back to make up any of that time. So it's one of those catch-22s that you got to work out while you're driving around this track here.
Well, first of our top 5, Travis Dart going to be coming into pit road and just leaving his pit box now. As you can see, Christopher Wade, Travis Dart, they're continuing to pressure on, and you kind of get a sense. Travis Butt, he's not planning on saving these tires anymore. Pit road is soon to be coming. He's got to get aggressive and attack now, but here comes the 65. There goes Kovacic. Fresh tires, and he's gone in an instant.
Right there opens up the door from the inside. The 00 turns up under the 53 of Christopher Wade. He's going to be dead even alongside here on the front straightaway as they head down the turn 1 here. That bottom groove is usually the preferred groove, but that outside line with the side draft seems to pull it back. And again, Christopher Wade fights strong on the outside. Looks like he'll hang on to the lead down the backstretch.
Well, Zach, if that was the finale, if that was the last lap, it was going to go to Chris Wade by 0.06 of a second. Here they come again, coming through 3 and 4. 30 laps to go, coming to that of 29 for our front runners. When will they come into pit road? That's going to be the big question. Derek Offerman just leaving his pit box, still waiting for our top 3. Chris Wade, Travis Butt, Brian Burchett, all 3 need to come into pit road. They cannot make it to the end of this race without making this pit stop. Everyone else have already made their money stop.
Money stop definitely for a few drivers already. These drivers still looking to make that money stop, but they are battling here strong, and they can't get blindsided by this. You know, they're got to be looking around them in the competition that what they've played. If they wait too long here and race each other and wait to pit here, they're going to be in a weird scenario where they're going to have to run back by drivers. And we've seen the tires even out tonight. It happens. Just because you have an advantage doesn't mean you're going to run back the field. Man, it's definitely getting to the scenario where I think they need to be hit pit road here. It's under 30 to go.
Well, and if they continue to stay out as long as they can do that for another, I believe, 3 more laps. They can stay out. But if they do that, there you see this group of drivers, they're coming with a head of steam and potentially could be a pack of drivers to force our front 2 not to be able to come into pit road. That is a gamble by staying out. 1, giving up a lot of time, and 2, the opportunity of accidentally being forced to miss your pit stop. If you miss pit entry, when you're this far into a race, that is a race-ending incident that could happen as these drivers up front continue to stay out. The question is, when will they come in? And I think we might get our answer. It's going to be Travis Butt making the indication he's in the pit road.
But a call from him here. I think this may be a race deciding factor. If he can jump out ahead of Christopher Wade, put some traffic in between him, he could pull a gap here on him. That's going to be the critical phase here. Christopher Wade, I don't think he can wait another lap. You have to be hitting pit road this time.
To be Continue to watch Wade Racing now. Of the drivers that have already come into pit road, leading those group, it is Scott Rickard, and just on his back bumper, not surprised if you looked at practice times, but if you look at the stats, this is a huge surprise. Brett Summers right on the tailpipes of the 05, and these two could potentially be 1 and 2 once service is done as Wade's into pit road.
And Wade hitting pit road here now as they're looking at the battle here between these two, the 05, the 17. This looks like it will be most likely, yes, it will be for that lead once it all cycles through. But man, Sam, this is going to be an interesting call here to see if Travis Butt can run him back down, because Scott Rickard now just about to be coming out of 4, and Travis Butt just going into 3 now. So really, man, he's got a sizable gap to gain, but he's going to have some fresh tires to do it.
This lead is incredible. Travis Butt has to figure out how to gain all this time back. He is all the way back to 13th. It's the 00. Wade continues to fall off and is actually now going to be passed by Travis Butt and also others. Wade's not even back to full song as that of Travis Dart. Doing a great job currently, and Dart going to be 1.8 seconds back. Freshest tires by that of over 4 laps. He's on the move, and this 209 certainly is going to look like the better driver. And Zach, I kind of threw it out there. You've got drivers that are going to do an undercut. You've got drivers going to extend it as long as you can. But it's usually the one that finds the middle ground that is the one that finds himself in victory lane. Travis Dart could be that after a lap 1 incident, getting forced up into the outside wall. Right now in 3rd with a chance to run down our leaders.
Oh, man, Sam, he's definitely, like you said, it's possibly the middle driver that has called it right, and he is in a good spot because I tell you what, Christopher Wade, he lost way too much time there on pit road. I don't think he's going to have a shot at this thing here in the final portion of this race. Travis Dart, though, the one that's going to be the closest, then we'll see if Travis Butt can gain back that 8.4 seconds, but Travis Dart only 1.8 back. He's got to be feeling very good right now.
Feeling great, and honestly, we're seeing these drivers all just throwing out a great charge for themselves. This is incredible to be watching everyone that's charging through, but as they're making all these different decisions, you've got to make decisions as well. If you have not gotten into iRacing or sim racing, well, here's a place you need to go to first. That's Advanced Sim Racing. It is basically the hub to get all of your retails for sim racing rigs. It is one of the best places to go, and if you use our promo code FreakyFast5, you get 5% off. Zach, we looked at this website when we first got the sponsorship with Advanced Sim Racing, and I gotta say, their website incredible to see, and the amount of content that you can get, and the amount of rigs that you can buy, parts you can get. It is one of the better places to go if you're starting to get yourself a racing rig.
Yeah, Sam, I tell you what, every time I get paid here on Thursdays at Freaky Fast, so we actually have contact with Christopher Wade here at some point here. Man, I don't know how he says that, but again, shout out to Advanced Sim Racing. They had some great stuff, man, like you said, and it's really something that I look forward to every time I get paid by Freaky Fast. Hitting that up as the cautions out the racetrack. Everything's happening right now.
Caution flag waves an issue further back. It's going to be that of Mark Beverly in 17th position. And it's right around the driver, that of John Zart. And Zach, you threw it out there while I threw you to a question, made contact with Christopher Wade, and then came up and made contact with that of Mark Beverly.
Yeah, that I saw that unfold before my eyes there, and man, that was a wild incident there, and definitely caught me off guard there as I watched it.
And more drivers. Jason, as we can watch this replay, the 66 both trying to hold their lines, but you see the 66 just drift up and was on those older tires and made contact with Mark Beverly. But as this replay continues to go on, Jason Gratton, who thought he could sneak by, was not able to. Same for other drivers as we ride on board with 46. This is what he sees moving forward. Just nowhere to go, really, and makes contact with the 93.
Man, heavy collision there, and then into the inside wall there, Sam. That is a heavy hit there, and that's gonna hurt that race car a good portion bit on the right front fender there. And unfortunately for Grattan there, just could not get out of the way there of that incident, and gonna be involved in it. But now, Sam, this is where, oh wow, it's 93 there. You see on the replay spot in front of Kobe there. That was about as close as it can get there between those guys. But yeah, we all hit pit road here now. except for Derek Offerman, Travis Button. You know why? They cannot. They didn't have the tires there to hit pit road, so it looks like they're going to let to stay out, along with Christopher Wade too. So he's one of the groups that stays out there, even though still believe he has a set.
Yeah, and for Wade, this is kind of that tricky situation, right? Where he was mired back so far that he had to stay out for track position wise to gain all that time that he had given up. That's the positive and negatives of having these extra set of tires. Is for Christopher Wade, he stayed out a little bit too long, put himself in bad track position. So when this yellow came out, had to be with the drivers that had already used their set of tires. So we're gonna have 4 drivers up front, older tires for themselves. It's gonna be Scott Rickard, Andrew Medlin, Brett Sommers, that of Travis Dart, Chris Essery, and that of Cameron Sartin. Gonna be your top 10 here. And Zach, this looks eerily familiar for me. I know you were in the booth at the beginning of the season, last season from season 3 of the Stars and Stripes. They were running the Xfinity cars. This happened a couple of times where late in the race, anywhere from 10 to 20 laps to go, you'd see a pocket of 4 to 5 drivers that decided to stay out on older tires, and then you'd have Scott Rickard and Andrew Medlin side by side in either row 3 or row 4, just waiting to go green with fresher tires.
Yeah, this is we've seen what the new tires did early in the race. We've really seen how well they were used by Travis Butt and Derek Hoffman to drive up through the field, gain the track position that he needed. Man, it's going to be an interesting scenario now with a group of drivers there in the top 4 who have not pitted. They would like to see a bigger buffer zone if you're Derek Hoffman and Travis Butt, but it's going to be tough. I think they're in a tough scenario now with no tires left in this race. If you're Brett Summers, look at him. He's got to be smiling for sure because, man, he's in a good spot for sure here sitting with this restart ready to go.
It's almost like Brett knows he's on camera. He just went up and gave a little bit of a bump to the 12, indicating, yeah, I'm here. I know, as I'm on screen, as Brett Sommers having fun on screen and running currently 17th. And I got to say, running in 7th for the 17th. And I got to say, where he's at, not a bad spot for a restart, especially with the drivers in front of him. You just got to pick and choose which driver makes the better decision, and you can find yourself going forward much quicker. We got a lot of drivers that we know are going to be quick. Travis Dart in 8th, also looking very fast for himself. But Cameron Sartin, I got to say, with how good he was in the first 20 to 30 laps of this race, Zach, you got to be feeling for the 13 on his strategy calls. It just did not hit the mark, and he's mired back all the way in 10th.
Yeah, if you would have took that first 40 laps of this race, you'd say, man, that 13, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, which he has been. He's had great pace, but getting into that outside wall and his strategy just has not gone the right way since then also. So just not overall played out well for him. He's going to restart 10th on new tires here. He's going to have his teammate there in 9th along with him. So we'll see what they can pull off, but they definitely still got 4 cars ahead of them that have fresh tires that they're going to have to get around if they want to be able to play for a win.
Well, these drivers have only had 3 cautions here tonight, and it's usually around the time that drivers are finally cycling through their pit stops. Well, we're now up front, getting ready to go. Hoping to see the 20 get back out on screen. As there he is, Derek. You don't want to be playing the hide-and-seek game. We want you to stay on screen, on track, so everyone can see here on Freaky Fast, and everyone on track can see where you're at. But we are stacked up, ready to go racing. If we do get a lot of late cautions that come out, again, we only have 1 attempt at overtime. So drivers hoping for this race to stay green all the way to the end. For Derek Offerman, Travis Butt, Chris Wade, Brian Burchett, they're hoping that they can somehow hold off the hungry drivers behind them, because it is going to be a feast to see who can get up front and lead fastest of those that just came into pit road. Pace car rolls off. It's time for us to go green for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. Season 4, race number 6 here at Kentucky. They're in the restart zone, and we are green. Derek Hoffman, Travis Butt, they have tried to get going, but it was the 20 that got the better launch.
Great launch by Offerman there to get out in front, but he's going to have the oldest tires of the drivers up front here. He pitted on 103, Wade pitted on 108, Butt on 107, along with Burchett, but they're all coming off of turn 2 side by side.
Who's willing to make the block? Because right now it is a wall. It's the 00 to 53 trying to hold off. That is Scott Rickard in the 05. It's going to be on the outside. Here he comes. Also Travis Butt to the lead. As here comes Scott Rickard, and if anything, it's great for Butt to take the lead, but this is giving the advantage to Scott Rickard now on the back bumper of the 00.
God, Ricker's got to be grinning from ear to ear right here, Sam. He's in the prime position, that outside line. Here comes Medlin trying to get to the outside of Wade, also to get up behind Ricker. He needs somebody to battle. Also, Sargent coming into the picture on the bottom, laying down their third car on the bottom. It's getting wild here as those new tires quickly storming to the front, just showing how much they're worth.
Oh my goodness, I'm watching the front runners right now, as you can see on screen. It's Travis Butt, Scott Rickard, and here comes Andrew Medlin to the inside. Little bit of bumping between himself, the 12, who came up second fiddle so many times. Now trying to get up to second place. It's a waving wall of cars behind, but side by side for second. Who's going to have the opportunity to face that of Travis Butt? Butt's loving this. Stay side by side. You're hurting your tires, and you're allowing the 00 to pull away.
Yeah, Travis Butt loves everything that he sees in his mirror, but they're staying side by side. Looks like now the 12 going to drop back, and they had a little contact on first. It was Somers up and away there in the middle, 3 wide. He's going to try to take that position, hold on to it, but here comes Sargent also. He's broke his way to the top 4. It looks like the 9 of Hasty on the apron.
Hasty able to stay off the wall. We stay green. That spin was off track. Up front, though, it's going to be Scott Rickard that's able to get the pass done on Andrew Medlin, as we see the battling also further back. But for the lead, here comes the 05. He's below the 00. Travis Butt did everything he can. He's now going to side draft. They're going to be 3 wide. Medlin backs out. Just was not able to get enough room on the outside. Still side by side. A little bit of door banging as we run on with the 12. Zach, they're side by side. But will we see Travis Butt be moved once again late in a race?
Butt did a big block there off the exit of 4 Medlin, who had to really check up. Medlin had the biggest run I'd seen all night off that top. He checked it up. It almost allowed Sargent to come into pictures. Now he goes to the inside of Medlin. This is all stacking up here as Rickard cannot clear here off of 4.
Cameron Sargent, he was all the way back in 10th place. Now going to be side by side, 3 wide for the lead. Here comes the 13. Will he go to the apron? 4 wide. Here comes Sargent, almost contact as they come into turns 1. 3 wide is for the lead, and it's going to be Rickard Medlin passing by Butt. Here comes Sargent on the inside. It is madness up front. Zach, we're coming to 11. Now about to be 10 laps to go when they come across the line.
Medlin almost took the lead there off of 2. Can he do it off of 4 here, Sam? What a drive for him. He was the top of 4 wide heading down the 1, and he's going to lead this lap here on 123. It's 10 to go here in Kentucky.
Go, Andrew Medlin's been waiting all race long, but there's going to be a little bit of scatter going on. The rookie is Brett Somers holding on. That 17 spins around, and yellow flies with 10 to go.
Oh, man, big moment here with the caution flag flying. That's going to help out Travis Butt, though, cooling those tires back down here for a restart.
Oh, my goodness. Our equipment needs to calm down. We need to calm down. That was wild racing there. And I said it. This was going to be a feast of the drivers that were on old tires trying to defend for themselves the best that they could. But Zach, Andrew Medlin has a chance. Our rookie of Cameron Sargent has a chance to win now. The 44 of Kyle Bowling's now got an opportunity to get back into the mix of things here, as everyone is catching up to the pace car. I mean, madness, Zach, here. When we go green, the potential of 5 laps to go. And for some of these drivers, who's got a set left? Well, it's going to be that of Christopher Wade. I believe that still does, but does he want to give away that track position as he's all the way back in 9th place?
Oh, that's the question, Sam. I don't think you give up that track position. I mean, for him, I mean, at this point, actually, I mean, 10th there, you possibly could, but it's just so little time, and the tires are so new for the drivers up front. I don't know how big of an advantage it'll be. But, man, we've seen what tires can do already. Medlin's got to the lead with them here, and this is going to be a tough situation. Sargent and Chris Estrie, they both got good right-side damage from that incident there, so they may be in trouble here also.
Arden into pit road, Christopher Wade into pit road, as well as Mark Beverly, Max Ward, all coming in to get service done. 8 laps to go. Drivers are all trying to communicate what the heck just happened, but up front, we know who the front 2 are. Andrew Medlin, Scott Rickard forcing it 2 wide, 3 wide, and at one point with Sargent taking it to the apron, 4 wide for the lead. I don't know how they survived getting out of it for that quick moment, but it was the next lap when things really hit the fan. And now do have a report. We do not have the replay of that incident, but certainly a chaos-filled wreck that now has put everyone in a situation where we stack them up and we try it again.
Sam, this is this has definitely got me on the edge of my seat here, man. Stars and stripes every week. We talk about it when we're on broadcast. These guys send it, man. They do everything you would love in a broadcast booth for us. They put on a show here for us, and man, what they've done so far at Kentucky, and most people would say Kentucky not on their favorite list of tracks. It don't matter what track it is with these guys. They put on a show no matter what. And so far, that is what we've seen here tonight, and I can only expect what we're just about to see as these tires cool down. Medlin making the charge to the lead, but you got to know Scott Rickard. He is looking to get this victory also, along with Kyle Bowling, who hasn't been in the picture for most night. Has been around that top 10 area, just hasn't really had too much of a spotlight on him. He could be looking to get his first win of the season. So it's all over the place, and I'm expecting something big here for sure.
Who's going to get to victory lane here at Kentucky? You'll look back at this season. This is only race number 6. The last week, Sonoma, chaos-filled last lap incident. You saw Travis Butt being moved by Ken Campbell in the 0-0, running in second and finishing further back than he wanted to. Then you saw, at Sonoma, absolute dominance from Scott Rickard. Atlanta finished out with Ken Campbell with a fabulous finish for himself. It was Michigan and Daytona that started out the season with high hopes and pressure of seeing drivers on top of one another, and Ken Campbell winning both of those as well. You think back to last season, it was constant. Who's going to get the win? Are we going to overtime? And it was always, we kind of coined it halfway through the season. It was the Robert Moyer of 20 to go, where every single time it was 20 laps to go or 15 laps to go, a caution flag would wave and would put us in these dramatic moments as we are in it once again. 7 laps to go, but we're expecting to be 6 to 5. I believe it's going to be 5 laps to go when we go green again. It's going to be Andrew Medlin, Scott Rickard, as well as Travis Butt, Kyle Bowling. That is Chris Essery, Travis Dart, Dylan Glass, as well as Brian Burchat, Timmy McNally, and Derek Offerman. I mean, there's some drivers we haven't talked about all race that are now into the top 10 because of these situations that have happened, but there have been EOLs given out to the drivers. Cameron Sarton as well as Jason Grattan, both going to be given EOLs at the start the end of the line on this restart.
Yeah, Cameron Sarton there was involved in that incident there. Brett Somers, looks like they made contact on the front straightaway. That brought this caution out here. And yeah, unfortunate for him, he's going to have to start all the way back there and have that damage. He just has not went his way tonight after sitting on the pole, Sam. He's definitely going to leave here tonight, Kentucky, thinking what could have been. But it's a tough situation as a driver. He's got to move on to next week and see what he can produce, because he's had so much speed this season. Almost every single track, he's a driver that I think we're looking to break through a victory lane at some point.
Well, I think I might have to move my microphone about 20 feet away from my voice if how loud we were getting there with just 20 laps to go. We're now going to be coming to the final stretch, a final dash to see who's going to get it done here at Kentucky. This is only race number 6. Again, we've got Chicagoland next week. That's going to be a great one to watch. But man, Stars and Stripes, they do it once again here tonight, putting on a show. We hope that it doesn't get shrouded under controversy, but we hope that it's a good one. It's going to be Andrew Medlin, Scott Rickard, as well as that of Kyle Bowling. Travis Butt going to be your top 4, with that of Travis Dart, Chris Essery, Dylan Glass, Brian Burchett, Derek Offerman, Timmy McNally going to be your top 10 as we get ready to go green here for the Stars and Stripes Season 4, race number 6 of the Cup Series here at Kentucky. The pace car pulls off. 5 laps to go. Will we need overtime? We'll find out. Green flag's in the air. Medlin's already on the loud pedal, and you can see Butt trying to push the 0-5 on the straightaway, but it's all Andrew Medlin heading into turn number 1.
With 5 to go here, Sam Medlin's going to have to do everything in his power to hold this group off. If the 05 gets a push from his 0-0s, now they look to race off a turn 2. This is going to help the 12 here. Any little bit of racing behind him is something he wants to happen. He does not want to see them group up together and push by him.
And now coming to 4 laps going when they come across the line. It's going to be that of Travis Butt on the inside, not able to really get back onto the throttle. It's going to be that of Rickard that gets the better launch. Rickard gets a good launch. Here goes Bowling the 44, but it's all Andrew Medlin by 2 car lengths. He's able to hold off for now, but here comes the drivers. They're all on equal footing, our top 3, or top 4, I should say. And now the race is on. 4 laps to go. Can the 12 be ran down by the 05?
Man, Malin fought so hard last season to get that victory. Came close so many times. We talked about he was possibly the driver that we looked to be the next one to get his first time in the victory lane. It could be here tonight, Sam, at Kentucky with 3 to go. He's going to do everything in his power to hold off that 05, who's got to win this season and a past champion.
One of the fastest laps that let's go around was to the 12, Andrew Medlin. Everyone else trying to hold off. Before that, Chris Essery, the 10 is on the move, pressuring Travis Butt, but being boxed in top 3. They're single file out, but the question is, for the drivers further back, will they bring out a yellow, or could it be one of the drivers up front? As, oh boy, Essery, a little bit of contact between himself, could be 4 wide coming out of turn number 4, said it's 3 wide for 5th. Coming down, taking the dash, it's going to be the 42, Dylan Glass. As up front, Medlin continues to hold on. 2 laps to go, and Andrew Medlin looking strong out of turn number 2.
Can we stay green? Medlin's looking for that to happen here as we continue down the back straightaway. He's opened up a giant gap. Rickard has no pressure from the 44 of Bowling. Right now, our top 3 solidified, but Dylan Glass closing in 4th.
This is it, out of turn number 4, coming to the white flag. If we get it, we race it to the end. Cross the line, it's your freaky fast white flag up in the air. And Andrew Medlin, who's been waiting all season long, winless through season 3. Coming into this season, we weren't sure if the 12 was going to have this pace and the speed to get a win, but he finally showed up, put himself in the best situation. Entering turn number 3, Andrew Medlin looking for the gold. No one's even close. Half a second back is Scott Rickard, but coming out of turn number 4, finally couldn't get in season 3, but now in season 4, Andrew Medlin wins in the Stars and Stripes Cup Series.
What an awesome job. That is great to see. This guy's come close so many times. We've watched it, Sam. It's been amazing to see now him break through finally, get that first victory, and this could propel him, man. I'm telling you, you better watch out. Medlin could get on a roll here. He's going to be one happy driver, that's for sure.
We knew all last season long it was always Andrew Medlin, just side by side with Scott Rickard. You knew they were going to continue to battle on. They were going to be close. Could we see Medlin finally beat out Scott Rickard? And it happens here tonight. Riding on board with the 12 machine. Get to see him celebrate it and burn it down here at Kentucky. Congratulations to Andrew Medlin in the 12, winning race number 6 and giving himself a berth to the playoffs.
What a way to do it here at Kentucky too, Sam. And this is awesome too. I think it's maybe the first time we've had our in-driver cam here on the victory burnout. So you get to see how elated that Andrew Medlin is here to get this first victory. And man, we cannot wait to hear what he's going to have to say to us.
And Andrew Medlin, Scott Rickard, Kyle Bowling's going to be our top 3. We're going to step aside when we come back. We get to talk to these top 3 and get their thoughts here for race number 6 at Kentucky. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stars and Stripes Cup Series post-race show here for race number 6 at Kentucky Speedway. And what a race it was. We saw 3 four-wide racing action for the lead, and all came down to Andrew Medlin with 5 laps to go. Great restart and never looked back. Before we get to victory lane, though, we got to talk to our 2 other front runners in the podium position. Third place runner, that of Kyle Bowlings, get his point of view of the shenanigans and madness at the end of this race. Kyle, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. You got us?
Yep, I gotcha.
Well, Kyle, once again, kind of running under the radar, but man, what a great performance for yourself here tonight. Third place finish, but give us your point of view of all the madness that we were seeing of drivers going 3, 4 wide for most of the night.
Yeah, it was an insane race. This felt like a win when I came across the line finish in third. Like, because I was thinking after that last caution, I'm like, oh, I'm back here in 12th. I'm not going anywhere, and then I just took off that last run. So I'm super happy right now.
Yeah, Kyle, it's also Zach up here, man. Congrats on the third place finish, man. Best of the season so far to do better your other 4th place finishes. And like Sam said, even tonight, a quiet night for you. But man, even coming in here tonight, top 5 in points, but a kind of quiet season. But just getting those good finishes, other than the 2 bad finishes you've had this season, man. How's it feel to get another one to back up those 3 top 5 finishes you've already had?
I mean, that's just the way I run these things. I try to stay under the radar, because like the way I rationalize it, like at Sonoma, I could have gone for second or third, but man, fourth's worth a lot more instead of wrecking for going for second or third. So I just try and play it safe, and that's been. I mean, I got the Final Four the last 2 years. That's on that strategy.
Yeah, we're hoping to see you back in the Final Four once playoffs come around. Still, we're in the early portions of the regular season. We got Chicagoland coming up next week. How you feeling about that track?
I mean, these mile and a half so far. I mean, with the 550 package, I haven't been feeling like, oh man, I'm gonna do great here, and then I do fine in them. So it could be a good race, could be a really bad race because Atlanta was a bad one for us. So I don't know. It's every race a toss up right now.
Certainly. Well, before we let you go, Kyle, the floor is yours for any shoutouts.
Oh well, thanks you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Thanks to my dad as normal, because he's helped me get all this stuff set up, and thanks to all the guys for putting this league on.
Well, congratulations, Kyle, on a third place finish, and good luck going into next week.
All right, thank you.
As that was third place runner Kyle Bowling. We're now going to bring in second place runner Scott Rickard. Got the win back at Sonoma a couple weeks back. Thought he could get another win here. Was not able to. Scott Rickard up in the booth. It's Sam and Zach with you. Scott, you almost got the win there, but what else could you have done in those final 5 laps?
Probably had clean air. Just so hard to pass here with a dirty air, and then you have to, and then on the same tires, there's not much of an advantage to go anywhere else on the track to do anything.
Hey, Scott, it's also Zach up here in the booth, buddy. Congrats on another great run for yourself. A 4th top 5 this season for you in the 05 machine. It's been a pretty good start to your Cup Series season here, man. It looks like you had a little bit of damage here tonight on that right front. You think that kind of maybe hindered the performance on the 05 there down at the end of this race?
It felt fine. It didn't really feel like it affected me, at least. It could have, and I just didn't realize it, but I didn't feel like it.
Scott, you're usually a driver we always know of getting a win and being up front for most of these races. We're now going to Chicagoland next week. How you feeling about that one?
A little better than I did coming into Kentucky. I've put that much.
Well, Scott, it's always a pleasure to have you up in the booth talking with us. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Everybody at the team and my dog.
That's going to be Scott Rickard in the 05. Congratulations on a second place finish, and we'll talk to you next. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next week at Chicagoland.
Yeah.
And now we bring in and we head to victory lane. Andrew Medlin has not won in the Stars and Stripes series since all the way back in March 25th of 2021, over a little bit under 10 months ago. But tonight, season 4, race 6th. It took him this long, and it was a good one to get Andrew Medlin in victory lane. Congratulations, Andrew, on the win. How does this feel to finally be in victory lane?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty darn ecstatic. It has been a long drought. I'm been used to finishing P2 quite a bit, and I'll tell you what, the competition this season. Oh my gosh! I mean, I can't wait to watch the broadcast. I mean, this is some gut wrenching racing going on here, and just to keep it in one piece and finish P1 with a brand new car this week. Not sure if you caught it on the broadcast, but I switched from a Toyota to a Chevy after a year and a half, after many people have been begging. And I'll tell you what, I'm starting to wonder why I didn't do it sooner.
Hey, Sky, sorry, Andrew, sorry, man, if I messed up with that, man. But great win here tonight, pulling off your first victory here since season 2. Man, this transition to the Cup car, it's been an interesting one for a few guys, definitely. We've seen how well you did in the Xfinity Series, multiple second place finishes there, man, just being a contender each and every week. You come back here to the Cup Series, you've had good runs so far. You know, you had that top 5 last week at Pocono. Now the bounce back here, man, come with the victory here tonight at Kentucky. How do you think that plays out for the rest of the season and this transition over to the A car?
I'll tell you what, I didn't really have any experience in this A car coming into the season. This is my first time racing them pretty much on iRacing. They drive much different than I was expecting heading into the season, but I've learned a lot these first few weeks, and I'm just, like I said, I'm a little bit at a loss for words. I know this is just a simulator racing, but I feel like it was the real thing tonight.
Well,
And I just, I mean, those last 10 laps were absolutely wild. And I think it was, I don't know, maybe lap 124. I think we had it maybe 4 wide. And I was up there on the outside. I got a little nervous, but I just pushed it, as they say, full send into one there. It stuck. And I feel like that ended up being the move that put me in the position to take the checkered here.
that was one of the big moves, and also a fabulous restart that got you a big enough bubble to be ahead. And with Scott and Kyle battling with one another, it gave you plenty of space. Andrew, I also want to give congratulations. You're one of the first drivers that we've had an in-car camera with to see you what you look like in real life while also seeing your car virtually. You are the first person to be able to do a burnout while we've had that up. So congratulations on that. But we're now going to Chicagoland, another mile and a half after the madness you just had here tonight. How you feeling about that next race?
Probably like when you interviewed Scotty and Kyle Bowling, I would have to imagine they said the same thing I'm feeling. Absolutely nervous, wild. I mean, coming into these races, trying to figure out pitch strategy, and I feel like literally by lap 15 of each race, that goes out the window. And really, it's just keeping your car clean, sticking your nose under a guy or outside a guy at the right time. Make sure you have trust in them. A lot of us guys in Stars and Stripes, we've been racing together quite a while, so there's certainly a comfort level there. But we got a new batch of drivers in here that are strong contenders week in and week out. So, to finish answer your question about Chicagoland, I don't know, but I sure hope this Chevy, what is this thing in the A car? A Camaro? I should know that, but I'll tell you what, this LRS Chevy Camaro was really fun to drive tonight, and wait to see what we do at Chicagoland.
Well, Andrew, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
I got to give a shout out to my beautiful wife who was just messaging me saying, "That's your victory face." So I didn't realize I was on camera till I saw that. And certainly to my father, who watches every week. He's the one that helped me make my dreams come true racing about 20 years ago. And he was actually giving me tips. He was one of the people that was begging me to switch to a Chevy for a while. But he messaged me there during that last caution, and won't tell you exactly what he said, but gave me some tips that he saw on the broadcast. So appreciate you guys putting on a great broadcast each week. Got to get a shout out to my teammates at Wolfpack Racing, my brother Aaron, who watches most week, and my next door neighbor Vernon, the whole the 12 car fan club. Appreciate it. Look forward to see you guys next week.
That's Andrew Medlin in the 12 machine, getting a victory here and now having a berth into the playoffs. Congratulations, Andrew, and have fun celebrating this one.
Will do. Appreciate it. Have a good week, guys.
Oh, I mean, what a wild event this one was, Zach. As we step aside, we got to take time talking to the drivers. Andrew Medlin, what a race. And honestly, us in the booth, after we took a break and we're getting the drivers situated, it was kind of a relaxing, just a finally for Andrew Medlin. We had talked to him so many times last season during season 3 of coming up second. What do you need to do? What is going to happen? And he finally gets it done, Zach, here at Kentucky, which was a wild one. 4 wide for the lead at one moment, and it was the 12 that got it done.
Well, Sam, I know what it feels like to go on a drought. It's a situation that as a driver you never want to go through. But man, when you get that win, it's just so relieving, and then the next one becomes easier every time. So, man, that's great to see for Medlin to pull it off here tonight. We knew he could do it. We knew it was there. It was coming. It was so close so many times, and tonight he breaks back into victory lane after that long drought.
And here it's race number 6 again. Chicagoland's going to be the next race. But before we're done with tonight, we are going to take a quick look at our results here. Andrew Medlin getting the win, Scott Rickard second, and then you've also got Kyle Bowling, Dylan Glass, Chris Essery, Timmy McNally, Travis Butt, as well as that of Brian Burchett, Brian Lynch, Trey Jackson, going to be your top 10. Christopher Wade, he did his darndest to try to gain as many positions as possible. 12th was the highest that he could go. Cameron Sarton in 16th, Travis Dart 15th, and then you look even further down than that, Nick Holland 24th position. That was not where he wanted to finish at all. And I think the biggest disappointments have to be all the way down in 30th and 31st position. Dylan Grimm and as well Ken Campbell both going to be finishing further down when they were both drivers that looked like contenders to be racing up front.
Yeah, it was a tough scenario for a few of them out there for sure, Sam. And a few of those guys in the list there, a caution plays out a different way at a different time. If we don't get a few here or there, they're sitting in a good spot. So it's one of those things where racing, man, you never know until that checker flag flies. And Andrew Medlin takes that one home here tonight then.
Absolutely incredible race here. Zach, I'm going to give you space. Final thoughts as we were here at Kentucky. Again, race number 6, Chicagoland's the next one. Then we go for a couple of short tracks after that. We're starting to get to the middle of the regular season where the pressure's really hitting the fan.
Oh, pressure is definitely kicking up more and more each and every week we head into, man. It's going to be a special time at Chicagoland. After what we've seen here tonight, I can only expect what we're going to see at Chicagoland. That track really has some great multi-grid racing on it. Hopefully, we'll get to see all those lanes working where we can see these drivers spread out for 4 wide action like we did here for Kentucky. Man, it was a pleasure, Sam. I got to say that much.
Well, tonight, and we even heard it from Andrew Medlin, sometimes it takes a little bit of a change up to get drivers get in the right positions, and changing the car got Andrew Medlin finally to victory lane. And congratulations on that victory. Chicagoland's next. But before tonight's broadcast comes to a conclusion, there's one more man that needs to talk on our broadcast. We throw it over to our producer, Robert Moyer, to give you your final call.
All right. Well, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Zach. Great calling. Man, oh, man. Never disappointing here at Stars and Stripes every Thursday night. It is crazy racing. So hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content because these guys put on one well of a show. I don't know what to say. It always comes down to the end, and you just don't know who's going to win. It could be from the back, it could be middle, and the people in the front could win, man. It's just a great show. These guys, they put on great battling, but congratulations to Andrew, like you said there, Sam. Under 10 months here ago, he found, last time he got a win, and, finally he gets it tonight with that LRS output management ZL1 Camaro. Finally puts it in victory lanes, and a long time coming for this gentleman. And, like you said earlier, it's the first time that we actually seen a driver on cam get the victory, do the burnout, and not only that, listening to his interview, I picked up on a couple things. I do believe this is the first time that we actually heard him or anybody say that they were getting messages of watching our broadcast and relaying it back to a driver, what they're seeing out on the track through us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So I much appreciate that. That is something that just caught my attention when I heard him say that. But anyways, well, congratulations to the rest of the running order there of Scott Rickard and Kyle finally getting back up there. He's been struggling, and Dylan Glass, you got to give him a shout out, finishing in 4th place there with Chris finishing in 5th place there. We didn't talk much about him either here tonight. But with that being said, I wanted to let everybody know our next televised broadcast will be Saturday night with NAISCC Cup Series, when we'll see Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, and all the guys out there racing. It's going to be fun to watch that race, as Sam Dyer and Terry Radford will be calling all the action when we go live at 8:50 Eastern here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I also like to give a big shout out to our proud sponsors, Advanced Sim Racing, Butt Kicker, and iRacing. Make sure you go check them out. We do much appreciate that too. But hopefully everybody has a great rest of their Thursday night. We're going to get ready to sign off here from the virtual side of here. And hopefully everybody has a great Friday. But until Saturday night, everybody be safe. And last but not least, here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as always, we like to say, God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.